down to rest, partway up another mountain, and a host of monkeys surrounded them, like a gang of little thugs, harassing them, trying to take their sacks of cassava, even slapping them right in their faces. In the end, there was nothing for him and his brother to do but run away, leaving the cassava behind. When he told me this story, Deo laughed. It was what I'd come to recognize as his normal laugh. It had the same bright, surprised, near-soprano sound as his voice when he greeted a friend and cried out, "Hi!" the "hi" drawn out as if he didn't want it to end. His English was accented with French and Kirundi and sprinkled with misplaced emphases, as in, "I am laughing when I think about it." And many of his phrases had a certain hybrid vigor, a fresh extravagance. I want to get it out of my chest, run like a thunderstorm. I had to bite my heart. Deo grew up in the mountains east of Ganza, in a tiny settlement of farms and pastures called Butanza. He had returned to Burundi several times over the past 6 years, but he had avoided Butanza. He had not visited it for nearly 14 years. Now he was going back at last. He seemed happy to see Ganza again, but when we drove farther east toward Butanza, he grew, not silent, but increasingly quiet. One noticed this because he was usually so talkative and animated. After a while, we turned off the paved road onto dirt roads. The dirt roads grew narrower. Finally, as we bumped along up a steep, rutted track, Deo said we were getting close. He said that when we arrived, we would climb on foot to the pasture where, many years ago, his best friend Clovis took sick. We would visit the very spot, he said. Then he added, "And when we get to Butanza, we don't talk about Clovis." Why? Because people don't talk about people who died, by their names anyways. They call it gusimbra. If, for example, you say, "Oh, your granddad," and you say his name to people, they say you gusimbra them. It's a bad word. You are reminding people. Deo's voice trailed off. You're reminding people of something bad? Yes. It's so hard to understand, because in the Western world... Again, Deo left the thought half-finished. People try to remember? Yeah. Here in Burundi, they try to forget? Exactly, he said. Part 1. Flights. Chapter 1. Bujumbura, New York, May 1994. On the outskirts of the capital, Bujumbura, there is a small international airport. It has a modern terminal with intricate roofs and domed metal structures